Hey everybody, it's Fraboy Masterbank from Teenage Mutant Ninja Scrubs, and today we've got a video that's regarding a Let's Talk, different bugs in the game, the future of the Division in general, and my investigations and findings and my information, and telling you what I believe is going to actually happen in the future with the Division. As you can see here, ghosting is actually still in the game, and it was in the game immediately after the patch. Now, I knew about this 4 days ago, and as you can see here, Xbox Centric had informed me, and then I checked it out. I've had to make my own clips as he wasn't able to provide clips himself for me, which was a wee bit unfortunate, but again, thanks very much Xbox Centric for bringing that to my attention. Now, I did decide not to let the community know about this because it is game breaking. What I've actually found out today while I've been working on this video is that another prominent YouTuber has actually put out his glitch video yet again, and offering the chance for everybody to break the game that wants to cheat and exploit this particular issue, which is a bit of a shame, to be honest with you. I think it's something that he could have kept under wraps and just informed Ubisoft himself directly, in order that this didn't spread like the disease that it is. Now, the other issues that kind of plague the game is matchmaking. In this particular gameplay segment, it took 4 minutes, 4 full minutes, for us to actually get a team match made in a random heroic multiplayer group. The other issues that are still plaguing the game are skills that glitch out. As you can see here, I got hit with a grenade while I was trying to use my skill, and it's now no longer working. Normally people are having to kill themselves in order to get that skill working again and proccing again. Luckily, for some reason, my skill does come back towards the end of this small clip here, and I didn't have to actually allow myself to be killed and put my team in jeopardy of wiping for no reason other than the game's bugs. So it's a bit of a shame that these skill glitches and revive glitches and all these kinds of things are still in the game. We are a year in, and it is a shame that these problems are still persistent in the game environment that we're playing in. And I do believe that the developers are trying everything they can to minimise these glitches, minimise these exploits and these problems that we face as gamers. But unfortunately, it does look like every time they fix something, they break 2 other things, and it does seem to be a step backwards for the developers in what they're actually trying to do. Which is a bit of a shame, really, because it is a fantastic game. I love this game to death. I think the community managers all do a great job, but as I'll discuss later on, I think the community managers, their hands are tied with regards to the information that they're able to give us. Now, unfortunately, we've got enemies in the game that are refusing to take damage, which is, again, can be game breaking. How can you finish doing a heroic mission when you can't kill the enemies? And it's not because you're not able to shoot them or do damage to them, it's just simply because there's some sort of bug in the game, some sort of issue with the connection to everybody that's connected into this particular session. I don't know what the problem was, but as you can see here, enemies are repeatedly refusing to take damage, and it is causing major problems, and actually did nearly cause a wipe in this particular section in Lexington Heroic, Times Square Heroic. As you can see, Seeker Mine straight on him, not a piece of damage. He is taking fire. I was able to actually hit his fuse box and get a hit on his fuse box, but why the enemy's not taking damage and other enemies are is beyond me, to be honest with you. I just don't understand it, and it was very frustrating. Now, one of the other problems that I've actually got with the game in itself is that the developers haven't actually been able to provide a matchmaking option where we can matchmake with people who are willing to be on comms and matchmake with people who are not willing to be on comms. And it's something that I think would benefit the community and the game massively in a positive manner. You know, if people don't want to talk, they can go into the matchmaking game mode where you don't need a mic. People that do want to talk and have gameplay and speak about tactics and do other stuff like that should have an option to be able to matchmake for people who are on comms and want to be on comms. It would make the game so much simpler. As you can see here, we've got a guy refusing to come on comms, and all he's doing is face tanking enemies and dying. Not unlike the video I made a few days ago. Which is very unfortunate, but we were lucky enough that we did pull through and get the level done. But there was a time in this particular heroic where this particular gentleman was dead for long periods of time because of his positioning within the map and his inability to play as a team member, which becomes very frustrating very, very quickly. Now, unfortunately, this guy just keeps running into death, and that's pretty much it. But because he wasn't on comms, we weren't able to offer tactics, we weren't able to ask him, can you keep back a little bit just in order that our ultimates can get you back up. It just causes a major problem, and unfortunately, we don't have matchmaking that allows for matchmake with people with comms or matchmake for people without comms. For me, that would be quite simple and actually make the game much more accessible. At the moment, I'm actually in a situation where I'm finding it difficult to turn on the Division and enjoy it because of these problems and these types of players that I'm trying to avoid. There are a lot of good players out there that don't need to be on comms. I do admit that. But there's a lot of yahoos out there that do need to be on comms because they're completely and utterly noobish. Running... Look what this guy is. He's completely in the wrong place, thinking, what he's going to do there, I don't know, except just constantly die, because enemies will circle him, enemies are much more aggressive, and the guy just didn't give us an opportunity to speak to him, to let him know, look, here's the tip, go into the DZ one at a time, guys, we can pick up our med packs, we can pick up ammo, we don't need to leave the area, we don't need to run back to a specific area, to get ammo. We're able to do it right here, and nobody was able to realise that because nobody's coming on comms. Now, one of the other major issues I've actually got with the game itself is the RNG, and the fact that by the time people actually do get something that they want, it's actually likely either going to be removed for the game or completely changed from the base from which you were hoping, the stats or the talents from which it was going to be provided. Unfortunately, I keep getting MC Skulls gloves from doing heroics. It's becoming a pain in the arse, to be honest with you, and it's no much fun. There's only so many times that I'm going to grind something out to get the same thing over and over again before I actually put it to the side and go and play something else. And it's a problem that Destiny had and still does have, to be honest with you. In Destiny, you would wait a year to get a Galahorn, and then all of a sudden it's removed for the game. Only for them to decide to bring it back and have you grind for it again for another bloody, exotic mission or whatever it was. That's the reason why I put Destiny down, was because any time I got something, by the time I got it, it was actually either removed for the game or nerfed completely. Now, I've done some research, and as you can see for the Steam charts, the game's suffering. It's suffering big time. Now, I don't believe for a second there's any publisher on the planet that can allow further development of a game in the manner in which there are very, very few players playing the game, and hence there'll be very few, there'll be less players actually willing to buy the new content or the new DLCs or the new Division 2 or so on and so forth. Now, I've actually spoke to a number of different people. I've done quite a lot of research. This video is actually taken about 3 or 4 days to put together. So I've done a lot of research, I've done a lot of speaking to people, and quite simply, Ubisoft won't be in a position to be able to provide funding for a year, too massive to allow them to create new content. And that's the reason why we have a year 2 where they're saying that they're going to support the game by simply bug fixing it. and providing modifiers within certain situations, and really that's about it, to be honest with you. That's all that's been announced so far, and the reason for that is there's not a lot of people playing this game, and the publisher is clearly not in a position to keep pumping money into something where people aren't coming back to play it, so they won't be willing to pay money for it. Hence it is a wasted investment, in my opinion. Now, given the numbers and the figures that we've got regarding the player bases, per month I think you're looking at maybe about 5,000 or 6,000 people playing the game on average. There's not a lot of people. This was a worldwide launch game. It had 113,000 unique logins on PC on launch day, and that has dropped to about 5,000 or 6,000. Sometimes it's as low as 2,000 or 3,000 as well. And it tells me that there's not much of a future for the Division in the context that the players want, i.e. new story missions, further content, new areas to be opened up, so on and so forth. And it does lead me to think that we're in a situation where we've got a kind of hook and bait situation happening here, where Massive are desperately trying to keep us engaged in the game as much as possible in order that they can get some of their next project completed, or to a point where they're able to actually announce it and get us excited for the next thing that they're doing. I don't believe it'll be a Division 2, and I don't believe there'll be further DLC to expand the story or the areas within the Division itself. Now, there's a few things that lead me to that conclusion, and the main one is player base. The other thing is, in a number of the state of the games recently, there's a certain type of body language and stuff like that that's happening between Hamish and Yannick. And if you know people in the know, and know people that can read this type of thing and have been trained to read this type of thing, there is something that they know and they're not able to tell us. And I think the fact of the matter is there will be no Division 2. I don't believe there'll be any DLC forthcoming this year that adds to the content of the story itself. Now, the problem that I've actually got with the Division content itself is that the DLC that we've had so far has actually only been 3 new different arenas. Underground was an arena, Last Stand is an arena, and Survival is an arena, all with a different flavour. That's it. We've not had any new story missions, we've not had any specific areas opened up apart from the DZ, which people may argue, but that was new content. Yeah, well, it was new content, but it's actually just a new arena. Simple as that was created for Last Stand. The maps for Last Stand are all within DZ 7, 8 and 9. So it was arena content that's been sold to us throughout this first year, and unfortunately it's been lacking in additional content as well. The constant rebalancing also presents a problem in that when you finally get your build together or get something sorted out that you're actually happy with, you don't know when it's going to be made. It's typically going to be unviable at some point, or changed or nerfed, or call it what you're rebalanced, call it what you want, but that's actually exactly what's happening. By the time you get something, it's changed completely, and it makes the game unenjoyable. It's really that simple. It's not very enjoyable being in a position where you're loving the game, you're grinding for the stuff, you're like, well, yeah, finally I got a Barrett's. Oh, wait a minute, I can't roll Skill Power on it because I rolled it before that patch. These things are really, really aggravating to me personally, and I'm pretty sure aggravating to a lot of other people as well. I know Hamish is still looking for a Caduceus himself. The game's been out a year, he plays it every day near enough. The poor guy's still not got a Caduceus. Unbelievable. And he might never get one because of RNG. It's shocking. To me, it's absolutely shocking. Now, I've made a number of suggestions on comments and different videos and stuff like that, but there is a few things that I would like to state. in that purchasable exotics should be removed from the drop table. Open world drops should be removed from the loot table in order that people might have a chance to get, for instance, a Thompson or an MDR. I've still not got an MDR. I've still not got a Thompson or, you know, certain other things and items as well, and it's very, very frustrating to know that it's likely I'll never get them, or even if I do get them, they're actually going to be changed in such a way that it's going to make it useless for me to use or actually want again. And it is frustrating and it is a shame. I think the community managers do a great job, but I think they are aware of actually what's in the future or not in the future for the Division, and I think we're in a point where we're definitely being baited. They're trying to keep us engaged in order to simply get to a point where they're able to announce their next project, and I don't think that's going to be Division 2. If Division 2 is a thing, and it's simply, you know, a new story in a new city, that's the wrong way to go, guys. New York is the heart and soul of this game. It really, really is. It's the reason why the game is so successful. It's such an iconic location to have a game based on, and simply, you know, my advice would be expand the story, expand the outlying areas, you know, make it that the outbreak spread out further, you know, create Brooklyn, create Jersey, you know, expand it out and, you know, make this world kind of universal almost, you know, like, not unlike the Division, Destiny as such, but, you know, there are different ways that we can go with this, and I honestly don't think that there is going to be ever any new story content or a Division 2, and it's simply because there is such a low player base playing the game at the moment that the publishers are just unwilling to, you know, invest money in the game itself and allow the developers to actually continue what they were hoping to do, which is a real tragedy. But the real tragedy really is that the game is still so plagued with bugs and glitches since day one that's the reason why a lot of people, I think, have left it. You know, there's only so much players will forgive. There's only so much grief that you know, a player is willing to take before he says, yeah, I've had enough of that. And I think a lot of people have got to that stage. I'm actually personally quite close to it myself. With the ghosting glitch coming back again and still not being fixed, you know, it's, to me, it's really, it's a real shame that the Division, I don't think, will continue in the way that the developers wanted it to. You can let me know what your thoughts are, guys. If you like the video, please hit that like button. Please share the video and please subscribe. It's taken me about 4 days to edit and put this video together. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.